Welcome back to the channel. It's time to rank the top 10 best platinums of the year and the 5 worst platinums of the year. Now, this is a little different than the way we've done things before. We're just focusing on the platinum runs. I personally haven't played all these games, but I will be basing my choices on some criteria. And of course, we're looking at games with interesting trophy sets where there is a good amount of people who are playing the games and getting the platinum trophy. There might be some more obscure games out there with some amazing platinum trophies, but I am taking into consideration how many people are playing these games, and we have no bad games with good platinums. So might have a good trophy list, like objectively it might have a good trophy list, but the game is not very good, so I am excluding those games. I am taking that into consideration. When it comes to the worst list, the only thing I have off the table is of course the crap plats, because if we included the crap plats from our friends like Thigh Games, Zachem, Game Achievements Limited, and all the friends that are on the PlayStation Store, clogging up the PlayStation Store with new releases, then we'd really have a list of maybe like 5 of these games when there's a lot more of them and they're equally bad. It wouldn't be a representative list. These games are not even worth ranking on here. That's how insignificant they are and how much they don't matter. They're all garbage, crap plats. They're not even worth talking about or shouting out on this list. They're all bad, so we're going to exclude them. So we'll start ranking off the best platinums of the year, and we'll go in an order until we get to our 5th one, and then we'll start snaking the list a little bit. We'll start mixing the good and the bad together. But at number 10, I'm starting off with a PS Classic game. Oh, okay. So we have Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, the PS Classics version. This is a much better version of the original Sly Cooper Platinum Trophy run. Much better. We have environmental trophies, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that some of them are not kind of derpy. Like there's literally one where, like at the beginning of the level, you just hit these 2 fireworks that you're probably gonna smack anyways, and you get a achievement. Trophy. And they found a clever way to incorporate the Master Thief sprints here without going overboard. So they only gave you 10 to complete, and with Rewind they do tend to be much easier than they normally would. So number 10, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, PS Classics version. Oh, and I have a Platinum Hunter's Guide for that game. If you need it, you can go check that out. I'll pin it in the top here and in the description if you want to check that out. At number 9, I have Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Now this game is very good at being nostalgic for those PS3 times, and I think the trophy run is no different, except it's modernized. Now you have trophies for the story mode that you have to complete and get all the collectibles, but you can do it on any difficulty you like. You'll have a co-op mode with classes that you'll have to go through and complete operations and get certain trophies there. You only have to do 1 class to maximum level, thankfully, out of the 6, so that's nice there. You have 1 trophy for completing the game on the once hardest difficulty, just 1, which is Ruthless. Now there is a lethal difficulty added to the game, but that was put in post-launch. And then you have multiplayer. Now, multiplayer, what is that? Why do we have to do multiplayer? Well, it's only about 3 to 6 hours to complete all of everything that you need to do in multiplayer. A couple flaws, like you can't do the co-op stuff offline. It doesn't count towards your progression. That's a little flaw there, but otherwise I think this is a very great trophy run, and it's going to be very nostalgic. Number 8, Vampire Survivors. Now we're not talking about the 221 trophies that you have to get 100%. We're just talking about the Platinum, and the Platinum itself, the ride here, is a good one. And it won't take you that long to get the Platinum, only 20 hours, and it's not that difficult. The main thing you have to worry about is getting the later game weaponry and completing the kind of like collection and lore stuff, as well as a trophy that asks you to defeat 100,000 enemies. In a game like this, it's not that hard. So really all of this is boiling down to a couple trophies and getting to see the final ending of the game, beat the final boss. It's a very fun, addictive ride. This game is very addictive. I don't have the Platinum, but I know how addictive it is. I've played it on mobile, and it's a very good game with a good Platinum run. Good luck if you want to get all 221 trophies though. Good luck to that. There's lots of DLC to go through. Going to number 7, we have Animal Well, which will take you about 15 hours to complete, or a little bit more depending on if you play it with a guide right away or if you decide to just enjoy the game yourself. But what it boils down to is getting 64 eggs, 16 possible rabbits as collectibles, and then there's a bunch of trophies here that you do while you play the game. They're environmental trophies, and this game is very secretive, so I don't blame you for using a guide to do it. And they almost do it without missable trophies. There is one missable trophy here called Sneak, where you can miss it. It involves a squirrel and sneaking up on him. There's only 2 times in the game that you can find this squirrel, but otherwise they do it pretty flawlessly. You can still get all the collectibles and everything and get the true ending trophy at the end, where you, after you've collected everything and defeat the certain boss enough times, then you can do it. This game has tons of secrets, and it's a great trophy set complementing the game. That's why it's at number 7. Number 6, another Crab's Treasure. Now this is a Souls like game, more on the fun, playful side of things, but it has no missable trophies, and that makes this trophy guide much better to stomach. It is tough at 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 difficulty, but you have 25 hours to complete it, which is not bad at all. Basically, you play through the game collecting certain things, beating certain enemies as you would do in a Souls game, and getting certain weaponry and armor. And then you have this last section where you have a final boss to get your last 1% of it. It's the final stage. No missable trophies in this instance. This game is very fun, very flavorful. It's a nice play on the Souls-like genre with a very cute character here. If you're looking for a Souls game where you don't have to incessantly use a guide to do everything, this is the one here that you're going to want to play. Okay, let's kick it off to our first bad Platinum, our worst Platinum. At number 5, I have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This thing is a mess of a game already, and now, like, after you complete the game, you have tons of RNG to worry about, grinding for class stuff. There's time limited stuff, and this game isn't very good. I've heard it's good to play in it, but the game itself is not very good. The experience isn't very good. Thankfully, it is getting patched, or has gotten patched, to have an offline mode, and certain new missions have been added to the game, which is something that at the beginning when people played it, there was these really like generic missions that you have to keep running over and over and over and over again in order to get the rest of the Platinum trophy. But it is a bad Platinum. I'm putting it at number 5. It's not very good. The game's not very good. This was a waste of 9 years of Rocksteady's time to make this awful game that I bet they didn't really want to make in the first place. At number 5 for the good, we have System Shock Remake. Now, I know this game is pretty difficult to Platinum. like ranging around 6 to 7 out of 10. Only 30 hours to do, which is not bad. It's not a very long game, and you do need 2 playthroughs, and there is a hard mode playthrough. But I think what they've done here, even with missable trophies in hand, it's just the nature of the beast when it comes to these immersive sim type of games. What they've done here is very good. Now, you can play the game at first on any difficulty settings you want. The difficulty is modular, allowing you to change the combat, mission, cyber, and puzzle elements of the game between a range of 1, 2, and 3. But then you have to come back for this trophy called Don't Forget to Salt the Fries, where everything has to be set to 3. So all 4 categories have to be set to 3, and you can just kind of speed run through the game to get this done. I think this is a great Platinum. It is hard to do, and it will be rewarding when you beat it. Not every game that is hard is bad. Hard Platinums does not equate to bad Platinums. When it's thought out like this, and it makes sense for the game, it is a good Platinum run. And here, with System Shock Remake, they did a good job. Going back to our 4th worst Platinum of the year, we have Funko Fusion. This game was trying to be like the Lego games, but in the end, they needed to be more like the Lego games. There is a ton of stuff to collect in this game, but there's not any tracking, or there is a lack of tracking for this stuff, and the game is not very good. It's just okay. So it's not like a traditional Lego game where you're going to get all the bricks and stuff like that, and you can just kind of like track them down. At least the new Lego games are kind of like that. This one's kind of old feeling, and there's a lack of tracking to get all this stuff, and you kind of have to play the game twice to get everything because you got to do it in free play. This is just not a good game, not a good Platinum. They tried to do what Lego does, with their own kind of IPs added in. So there are some interesting IPs that are put in here for sure, but they executed poorly. So at number 4, worst Platinum, you have Funko Fusion. The 4th best Platinum is another remake. We have Silent Hill 2 Remake, and they did a great job, even despite how many missable things there are in this game. It's, again, the nature of the beast. There is a lot of missable things. You will need a guide, but otherwise, they really made a guide that is cohesive and represents everything you want to see in this game. Like, there are 6 endings, but you don't have to do 6 playthroughs to get them all. You just have to do 2 playthroughs, and with playing the game a certain way will grant you the ability to get everything in 25 hours in those 2 playthroughs, and you get to see all the endings, which there are some really morbid ones, some really funny ones. I don't want to spoil them, even though this game is pretty old now. I think it's 2002 is when it came out. But Bloober Team not only surprised us with this game and how good it is, they did a great job. I doubted them, and they did a great job. But they also made a great Platinum run here. Like, they thought about it. They didn't make something that was going to be like a throwaway. They really put some thought here into this. So I have to commend them for that. This is number 4 best Platinum of the year. They did a great job, and this trophy run is a good one. Now for our 3rd worst Platinum of the year, we have Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clashed, and I had to do some deep research for this because people are saying this is the worst Platinum and one of the worst games they've ever played. It's grindy as hell. The Platinum trophy is a 0.1, so that's not a good sign. That's really not a good sign. And mainly this thing has its problems of being a bad game, compounded by the fact that you have tons of multiplayer stuff that you need to do in the game. And even worse is the co-op grind. People are saying it's taken them like 200 hours to complete this stuff. It's starting to get a little bit better for the grind, but not by much. You're still in the 100+ range to get all of these trophies. And the biggest problem is the co-op mode, where you need to get your total characters level to 400 or higher in online co-op mode. And the other problem is getting 500 player card customization items, which is another grind. This game is just a grind fest for a bad anime game. No one wants to spend that much time in a game if it's bad, and this one is bad. So number 3 worst Platinum of the year. This could be number 1 for most like other people's lists, but I have 2 that I want to shout out that I think are worse. Number 3 best Platinum, we're heading over to Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2. This game took the world by storm. It's one of the best-selling games of the year, and I think when it comes to the Platinum run for this game, they took a look at the Helldivers 1 Platinum, saw how really difficult and involved that one is, and said we have to step back a little bit from that, but we can still make a fun Platinum that is challenging. This game is all about the challenge and overcoming it. The Platinum is the same thing. You still will have to work to get this Platinum, but it is definitely not as oppressive as the first games. The most oppressive trophy in the game is gone in 360 seconds. Complete a full extreme difficulty blitz mission and extract in under 6 minutes. That is the most difficult. That will require you to rank up, get better at the game, put the work in, and there are plenty of other trophies that will come along the way. A lot of people are getting this Platinum. It's not like nobody is. 2.5% rarity is good if you're looking at the PSN metrics. Here on PSN profiles, we have 15.09%. That's good. That's the range you want to be in. So I think this is a great Platinum for a great game that a lot of people had fun with this year, and they had a lot of fun delivering democracy. Okay, my number 2 worst Platinum of the year is going to be a weird one because of the circumstances. It is Concord, which is a Platinum trophy that you cannot get anymore. The game came out late August, and then about 2 or so weeks later, the Platinum was shut down because the servers were closed, and the game was delisted on September 6th. And you can no longer get this. So the people that actually played the game and started working on this Platinum, their time was short. They had 2 weeks, and I know this ruined a ton of people's lists. For the people that were concerned about 100%ing their list, RIP to your catalog there, your collection. That sucks. But why is this really on the list? Well, because the actual trophy run itself is the most boring and generic multiplayer list I have ever seen in my life. You basically just have to get characters to level 10. You have to get your overall free gunner reputation level 100, and then you have trophies here. Eliminate 50 enemies as each character, each of the 16 characters, and that's pretty well it. That's it. And you had a trophy for winning 100 games. This is the most generic list I've ever seen in my life. It gets more generic only if you play like Jumping Taco, where it's like, oh, jump for this amount of times, jump for this amount of times, and stuff like that. Otherwise, like, this is an actual released game with a Platinum run that's like this. Yeah, this whole project of Concord was a complete waste of money, waste of efforts, waste of time. This thing was a catastrophic failure on all fronts, and the Platinum is also that way too, that you can't even get anymore. Despite how little people played it, people actually went through the effort to grind it out before September 6th to get it. It's a 0.2. People got the Platinum trophy. They have a rare Platinum trophy on their hands if they did do it, but otherwise this is a very bad, catastrophic situation, and number 2 worst Platinum of the year. But I could also say this, you can interchange with the number 1 worst platinum of the year, which we'll get to in a second. But now we want to get to our second best platinum of the year, which is Dave the Diver. And lots of people got the platinum, despite there being a little bit of grinding in your cooksta, which is like Instagram kind of thing. It's for doing recipes and stuff. Plus your trained employees having to be leveled up to level 20. But all of this can be done in about 40 hours. It is a little bit guide heavy. And yes, there is one trophy that is missable, and there's also one RNG trophy when it comes to getting a certain item in the game. But otherwise, this is a very good game with a very good platinum. For the type of game it is, this partial like sim collecting kind of experience, this trophy run is excellent. It was well thought out for this game, and a lot of people have expressed to me that this is one of their favorite platinums of the year. I have to put it high up on this list. It's excellent, and I think that it could be number 1 on most people's lists. On mine, there's one game that I think is the best of the year in terms of its platinum, just with how smooth it is. But before we get to that game, now we have our worst platinum of the year, and this is on a kind of a technicality. This game has come out before, and then it was taken away from us, and then it was released again this year, and the Platinum experience was even worse than it was back when it first came out in its quote-unquote beta. I never heard of a beta that has trophies, but now it's fully released. Now it's, of course, Multiverses. This is the worst platinum trophy of the year, period. You start off this with a just lazily made list that just has like, here's trophy criteria, now do it 50, 100 times, or here's the criteria, do it 10 times, then 100 times, then 300 times. You have a ton of that stuff here. Play 25 matches in a party 25 times, then 100 times, and then the worst one, the worst trophy in the list, 500 times in a party. So you do need to play with somebody, and you need to do 500 matches with people in a party. That sucks. That really sucks. This trophy run is a 0.1% on PSN rarity. Not good. This is just an awful trophy list, especially with the fact that when this game came back, it was more grindy to do all these things because they changed the way the systems of getting characters works. And how, because it is a free-to-play game. And as well, people en masse telling me I did the criteria for this and I did not get the trophy because there's an issue with carrying over the previous saved data and records from when the game first came out in its quote-unquote beta form, and then carrying it over here to its new iteration. That transition screwed up a lot of people and screwed up the way the trophies pop, and just the overall experience that will take you like anywhere between like 200 to 300 hours to get the platinum. It's all very grindy, it's all very bad, tons of bugs. This is the worst platinum trophy of the year, easily. Concord is lazy, but had it stuck around, it probably would have worked out, and you can do it in less time than this. This is just awful. But of course, you can interchange Concord and this one for the worst. Now we get to the best platinum trophy of the year. It could only be one game. This is the smoothest 15-hour platinum trophy run you'll have in your life. Of course, I am talking about Astrobot. This is a great list that has you see everything, including all these special bots that they've put in the game, all the cameo bots, and then using those bots to get to the top of the golden statue. Then we incorporate these awesome environmental trophies for these already great levels that are so well designed. your smile from ear to ear, it lasts from the moment you put the game in the console or start it up on the dashboard to the moment you get your platinum trophy. That smile doesn't go away. You're just having fun and you're having a great time working through these trophies that are just excellent. This is clearly the best platinum trophy run of the year, in my opinion. I have a Platinum Hunter's Guide that you can check out, and I can tell you exactly how much I loved it. So that's your 10 best platinum trophies of the year and your 5 worst platinum trophies of the year. The Oscar goes to Astrobot. The Razzie goes to Multiverses. Let me know down in the comments section what you think is the best platinum trophy run of the year. Do you think my list is whack? Tell me what the worst experience you've had doing a platinum run this year. What is the worst experience? Any and all thoughts down below. And I hope all your trophy hunting expeditions for the rest of the year go incredibly well, and I've got a New Year's episode almost ready for you guys. Hope you enjoy it. Peace out.